What's up, NASDAQ traders? What's up? I hope you're all well and keeping safe. Hey, another week gone, another week to prepare for the NASDAQ, right? So we got our shorts as we wanted over the course of this week. Hey, for everyone who want to find themselves looking at, who's like curious, D, why do you have this? Why you have that? Why you have this? Why you have that, right? Just go to our previous content. Make sure to go rewatch our breakdowns. You know what? This is making it more educational for each and every single one of you, right? Because I'm not just simply finding myself making a breakdown and that's that, right? But I'm trying to make it educational as well. And at the same time, you know what, we are literally tracking the NASDAQ together, right? I think that is super awesome. And for those who's finding themselves watching my content, you know what, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I will highly appreciate that, right? So now let's dive into the NASDAQ. We're gonna start off from our weekly time frame, right, and see what is up, right? Hey, how many days we have left? This is the last week for this month, right? So clean stuff. Just by looking at this candle over here as well, right? Even if we are gonna close quite bullish like this, right? If we are going to see some upside momentum whatsoever, we first need to create somewhat of an actual wick towards the downside as well, right? So we need to see somewhat of downside momentum, just like a side note whatsoever. But let's look at our weekly time frame, right? I like the fact that we did find ourselves having a nice bear candle, right? And having the same outlook as what I just mentioned on the monthly time frame, right? We need to see price create somewhat of a wick, then come back down to come create a potential body, right? A potential body for a potential continuation move back towards the upside, right? So on our weekly time frame, we can see that we are having that rejection candle, which is quite clean, right? Which is quite clean, basically telling us that we can potentially see somewhat of an actual shift back towards the downside. Let's scale to our daily time frame. Right now, let's look at what is happening right over here. Okay, so looking at our daily time frame with this momentum back towards the downside, what can we see? We did find ourselves creating. We can see we left another actual bob right over here, just as how we did with below price, right over there, because ultimately this is the target to where we would love to see the NASDAQ find itself coming back into, right? Fam, listen, keep in mind that this week we have Memorial Day, right, which is basically on Monday, so don't expect too much to happen over the course of Monday, as it is a public holiday within the US, right? So from Tuesday onwards, we can see somewhat of momentum, then find itself kicking in. All right, so looking at what we currently have, I would love to see somewhat of an actual pushback towards the upside, right, back into our bob, so that we can see somewhat of an actual shift back towards the downside, right? That is basically it when it comes down to the NASDAQ, when it comes down to the daily time frame, right? Not much to say. As we can see, we had the closure below the bob. We never came back for the retest, so I would like to see a retest within our bob for a further continuation move back towards the downside, right? Simple. From one magnet back into another magnet, because ultimately this is where we would love to see price find itself coming back into, right? And why this area? Simply because we left a bob which is untested, but not only that, you know what, we have also found ourselves leaving an actual gap which is still open, which we need to find ourselves filling, right? So not much to say on our daily time frame. Once again, if you wonder why these areas are here, make sure to go check out our breakdown over the course of last week. All right, so let's scale within our H4 time frame and see what is up, what is happening right over here. Okay, so looking within our daily bob, we have found ourselves creating. We can see on our H4 time frame, right, if we can maybe just box out this area right over here as well, which is also serving as an actual bob. I'm just gonna give it a different color, just like that, right? As I like finding myself looking for magnets on a higher time frame, I scale down to a lower time frame and see if there's any magnets within that magnet right? As we have the big bob, and then we have a smaller bob on our actual H4 time frame, as we have over here. All I basically want to see price do is something like this, right? Come back into it, wait on the lower time frame for an actual change in market structure, right? Preferably 1 hourly 15-minute time frame, right? And then find myself looking for those beautiful shorts to find itself opening up, right? Because ultimately, once again, this is the target to where we would love to see the Nasdaq find itself heading back into. And with me saying that, right, I'm basically saying that I still want to see some shorts find itself opening up when it comes down to the Nasdaq, right? I still want to see some shorts finding itself opening up. Now, looking above price, right? One thing we can see what happened on the H4 time frame is the following, right? If I can maybe do this, that right there, boom, right? We can see that we did find ourselves creating some equal highs coming through right over there. And this is basically giving me somewhat of an actual indication that, you know what, if we can see a proper change in market structure, especially if we can find ourselves having a closure above this candle, there would be a high possibility for us having a further continuation move back towards the upside. Wait for that change in structure for a shift back towards the downside. Is that what I ultimately want to see? No, that is not what I want to see, right? I would like to see the Nasdaq remain bearish in market structure and have a further continuation move back towards the downside, right? So that is my outlook when it comes down to the Nasdaq for this coming week, right? Keep it simple, fam. Keep it simple. All right. We don't need to find ourselves doing a lot, right? We don't need to find ourselves doing a lot. Keep it simple and just react with what price has installed for each and every single one of us, right? Because what we can see price did was create some lower lows, right? Currently, we are finding ourselves creating the next impulsive move back towards the downside, right? Have a target to where you would love to see price find itself heading back into, right? Have somewhat of an actual preparation plan on where you would like to see price find itself tapping into, have somewhat of an actual market structure change, and then, you know what, find yourself participating in some beautiful shorts back towards the downside. So me, Diego, for this coming week, I am still bearish when it comes down to the Nasdaq. In the comment section, make sure to tell me what is your bias for this coming week. Are you bullish? Are you bearish when it comes down to the Nasdaq? I am curious to know. And with that being said, it's me, your boy D. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I'm out.